everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and we were off yesterday. If you've ever been so angry you give yourself a migraine from the stress, because that was me after the Monday Night Football game last night. So I was watching the Lions-Packers game, and if you know anything about football, you know what happened in that game. And I got so angry that I gave myself, I don't know if necessarily it was a migraine, but it was like a severely bad headache right after that. So like I need to just I just took some Advil and just went right to bed because I was like it was like I was so angry. I was so angry last night. But that doesn't mean I didn't do my predictions. I was doing predictions and I went 6-0 today in day 4. Day 4 is wrapped up pretty well, and I actually, since we do not have any games tomorrow, I kind of want to do a little bit of a different podcast. We'll still talk about the games today, but I still want to do a little bit of a different podcast and like do a recap kind of after week 1. Let's actually move these over. We're going to do after like a week 1 predictions. So how will they continue? And kind of a who's disappointed so far, and who is dropped below expectations so far. So we're going to do that. There's not actually wait, did I say who's disappointed? Who's overachieved and who's underachieved, basically, is how it's gonna go. But there's not actually a lot of people that I think have underachieved and overachieved. I think a lot of the teams have played about exactly how I've wanted them to, which is pretty impressive. I'm very proud of most of these teams so far. There are a few that I'm going to be calling out shortly, but most of the teams that have come to Worlds have came to play, and they're playing how I expected them to. So with that, actually, let's get into the games from today. First up, we had RNG versus Fnatic, and this one was it was a pretty close game for most of it, and then towards the end, it got a little out of hand, as we will see once we get to the match history here. All right, let's pull up. Where's my match history? There it is. I don't know. What's HW or HL?
Android.
Shield and
Oh, the highlights. Okay. So let's pull up RNG versus Fnatic. Okay, so it's 15-7 final game score. We had a 70k about a 10k gold lead at the end of it for RNG. Pretty much this game I have a big, for as spicy it is as it is, I have a big problem with this draft by Fnatic. Okay. So at the end of the day, tanks aren't super relevant at the moment, and you kind of want to bring a lot of damage, because what happens is team fights are decided in pretty much an instant for the most part, and it's whoever gets blown up first and gets caught out of position first kind of loses the team fight in general. That's in general how team fights have gone this season. And so our issue is here. We have where is our damage on Fnatic? The damage is on Kayle. Okay, solid choice. Solid for once she hits level 16. Kayle is a monster. You have this Morgana Blitzcrank bot lane, which I love the idea of. I really like the combo. I don't think they executed it properly. I don't think that if you're going to do Morgana Blitzcrank, you need to be very aggressive early. And I don't think they had, I believe, only one. I can only think of off the top of my head. Let's see. They had the early kill on the Kayle. That was really good play, by the way. It was a first blood. Kayle was under tower, and it was just, you can't blame Nemesis for that one. It was just perfectly executed. He was pretty far behind his tower, and then Xiaohu did a lot of damage to him. Took two tower shots, so he's down like that much health, but then backed out, and then Big Duffy, whatever. But and then Rek'Sai or Karsa on Rek'Sai came in, did the rest of the damage, finished off Nemesis, got the first blood, and because Xiaohu was still taking tower shots while this happened, he was able to back out, and then Karsa had the minions eventually start taking tower shots. So then Fnatic or RNG didn't burn any deaths for that. That was just a free very early kill. And not only is that a kill, it's a flash on Kayle, and it burns her teleport early, and she has to try and survive early or she's going to fall way too far behind. Eventually, she was able to catch up. As you can see, she was only 400 gold off of her opponent in mid lane with Xiaohu, but unfortunately, Xiaohu had a much better game. Second, this is the. Oh, no, not second. What I want to talk about, yes, okay, there was only one kill in this entire bot side of the map, and that was the only time Hylissang got a legitimate pull. I don't know if he got like more pulls that didn't result in kills, but off the top of my head, but I know for sure there was only one pull, and that was Blitzcrank versus Karma. He pulled the Karma, got the kill there, easy enough. But you need to do that way more often because simply this can go one of two ways. They were saying you can get the pull and then the knock up and then the Morgana binding. It's a free binding. The bindings you can kind of make that as well. Like you really just need one person hitting the skill shot in the moment. Because if you hit the Morgana binding, it's like a 2.5 second stun on there. So like if Blitzcrank in 2.5 seconds can get over and cover, and or if someone has to block a Blitzcrank hook for it, that's fine because it was Karma and Xayah. They're both squishy. Then you just basically say Reckless hit a binding, then you can also just do that, and then once they're binded, pull them over, knock them up. But honestly, I guess you kind of want the pull first, because if you get the Blitzcrank pulled first and then the knock up, you already have the pool under them from Morgana and then the Q. So I guess that does make sense, actually, now that I've talked it out loud. Either way, I like the concept. I think the execution of it was very poor, which is pretty much Fnatic. All of this, I know they're in a really hard group, but they've looked very sloppy on a lot of things. Bwipo's had another very poor game. He's had pretty much a poor game every single game so far at Worlds. And Broxah improved. Broxah has also been struggling a lot, but Hylissang is, again, as well. But the issue I have with the comp in general is you have Shen, melee, Broxah, melee, Kayle gets range at level 9 or 11. I don't remember which one gives a range, but I think it's 9. But you have to wait till level 9 to get range, and then eventually you're there. But you have Morgana range, but it's not auto. None of these champions are consistent damage outside of Nemesis. So what you want is your team to be able to engage on someone, and then basically you want to have Shen and Lee Sin get an engage, or like on a flank, or have a Blitzcrank hook pull someone in. That's pretty much all you're going for. And then eventually whoever gets pulled in, you just auto down with Kayle. Kayle you always keep in your mid line, like mid to back line, because she is your vital part of your team. That's not how they played it. They played it with Kayle in the front line with Shen. And the issue with this was Xiaohu played phenomenal on the Rise and would always, on every single team fight, start the team fight. Especially, there was one right here. He starts the team fight with his empowered Q, just W. I don't exactly know how new Rise. There's been so many iterations of Rise that I've lost track of how they are. I think I played Rise like just a little. I've never played Rise for a lot, but I've played him a few times. But that was like 3 iterations ago. Like that was when his it wasn't even the realm warp thing. It was the empowered Q, or it empowered all your abilities or whatever like that, I think. So it's been a long time since I personally played Rise. So I don't know all the fine details of it, but all I know is that Xiaohu was, because Nemesis was playing the front line instead of near the back, mid to back line, Nemesis was getting immediately bursted out, not dying because he has Kayle ult, which makes sense, and then he would just die, or he's not dying because he has Kayle ult. So then he would just die is what I say next, because I'm a genius. But if you haven't noticed, I have real trouble with forming sentences off the top of my head. I try my best, but I struggle a lot. But no, he gets low enough, like about 25% of his health bar, he is now out of the fight. He can no longer be in the fight because he's going to die instantly. If him dying instantly is pretty much the same as him backing out of a fight in regards to the rest of the fight happening, where now you have your front line of Bwipo and Broxah, and then you have Morgana and Blitzcrank as your damage? Like, there's nothing there. There is nothing there to stop Uzi on Xayah and Bwipo Gnar and Karsa jumping in, and then you still have Rise to deal with because he didn't take any damage in that return. They also have all speed buffs from Karma ult, so they're all going to chase in on you now, and all of a sudden that's just pretty much how all team fights win. So as you can see, there were some good plays at the beginning here. Broxah was getting fed pretty well, and then around this Rift Herald, Fnatic just took that fight. They were in no position to take that fight. They caught RNG going for Rift Herald at 10 minutes, but because apparently when Clutch goes into a group, every person goes into that type of mode. But instead of that, instead of like working on it and like backing off, like okay, they have 4 people at Rift Herald. They just kind of tried to fight it, and by fighting it, they lost immediately. They lost Blitzcrank, then they lost Shen. Everyone got out alive for RNG. RNG then immediately gets Blitzcrank again into an Ocean Drake. A Blitzcrank pick into Ocean Drake, and then from there on, Fnatic doesn't get. Yes, they have 1 kill here on the Rise at about 16 minutes, and then they don't get another kill until the 34-minute mark. But I mean, like even this play, this is the play we were originally talking about right here. They killed 3 of them right away. They didn't kill the Kale, but she was hurt enough that she had to back away, and then they were able to secure the Baron. And then also, what you cannot do on this team comp at all is you cannot wave clear at all. Like Baron buff, empowered Baron buffs. You can't clear them whatsoever. Kale is your only semi-good option for that. The rest of them are god awful at clearing. So the second they get Baron buff on RNG, its game was pretty much over. As you can tell, it went from an immediate 600 gold lead to an immediate, like, after the Baron buff, you can say it was about 7k. Nearly a 7k. That's a little too long. It was about a 5 to 6k gold lead, though, from Baron power play. Immediately got Infernal as well on top of that, and then the last team fight of the game was pretty close, actually. Uzi, if Uzi wasn't Uzi and then just flash forward towards the end here, it was like a big fight here. As you can tell, all the fighting happened in the Baron pit around for Rift Herald and Elder. Those are the only two. It was Rift Herald was the first fight, then this fight in mid was the second one, and then the final fight was here. Pretty much all the major fights were in this river, and RNG won them all, which has now put Fnatic at 1-2. Should have damn well been 0-3. Like they really kind of blew that one. Or Clutch really blew that one. But Fnatic has looked very bad so far on the year, and I think that, or at groups, and I really am unsure how they need to recover. They really need to recover after they get a nice 3 days off here, but hopefully they can use that time to get some more practice in and learn what to do to win these games, because I'm still hold to the fact that if Huni didn't enter, they lose to Clutch and they're 0-3. They're lucky they got a blessing there that they can actually win that game. They'd be out of Worlds. If they're 0-3 in this group, they're out of Worlds, because you're not going to 3-0 probably. You're not going to do a reverse sweep type situation and then get bailed out. But so they still have a shot at that 1-2 mark. It's getting tougher and tougher to get the first seed, because you're now relying on SKT to lose at least 2 games, which most likely means that you need to beat them. But if you don't beat them, then you're screwed anyway. So I guess you do need to beat them, and you need help. And you're probably not going to get help from Clutch, as we will talk about next, what they looked like. But you'd have to have help from RNG, and then by having help from RNG, actually kind of hurts your chances as well to move on to the next round anyway, because now RNG's picking up a win they shouldn't be, and if SKT's already won a bunch of games, and RNG picks up an extra win on SKT that they're not supposed to get, then all of a sudden you're pretty much shit out of luck and you're out of groups. So hopefully Fnatic moves on, or hopefully they get it together to move on. But originally, when I first did this, I did predict Fnatic to go 2-4, so I kind of went exactly how I thought. All of Group C, actually, I am perfect on. Group D, I am perfect on in perfect in theory, but my games have been kind of off. But and then honestly, Group A, I'm also perfect on so far. But I really am regretting saying Griffin's going to beat G2, because I think G2 is going 6-0. But anyway, that was the first one. Second one is SKT versus Clutch Gaming. Really not too much to talk about in this game. This game was a blowout from the very beginning. There was actually two of those today. But yeah, I mean, it started out with a 5-minute first blood. and a double kill for Faker. Faker went 7-0-1. Khan went 7-0-1. We had the fancy Yasuo Gragas bot lane, and it looked pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the reason they won, but it was definitely Khan on the Aatrox. We saw Huni decide to go the Klepto Vlad after seeing the Klepto Vlad get destroyed to Aatrox. He decided, I want to do that. I want to ent because I've been enting all worlds. And he did. Oh, man. And then they just literally, as you could tell, they had no shot whatsoever to do this stuff. Like, I mean, it was at 15 minutes, it was a 6K gold lead. Like, at 20 minutes, it was a 10K gold lead. Like, the whole game, every single time. This game was a bigger lead than 10K at 20 minutes. This was literally like Faker and Khan were facing bots, pretty much. They would literally walk up to anyone on the team. Literally, I just said literally like 100 times there, but it did not matter. They would just walk up and just, boop, and you died. Pop, you die. Like the second they walked up to you, you died. And that's kind of how it went. I mean, that's all you could say. 9K damage was the best on. Our Clutch only did 24K whole damage. Faker did 14K by himself. Faker and Khan outdamaged the entire team of Clutch combined. So two players outdamaged all five of them combined for the entire game. To put it in perspective of how big of a blowout it was. I mean, it was nearly a perfect game. You had a 1-for-1 trade with Gragas dying, with Effort dying, and then Gragas got caught out, but he got caught out by 4 people, and it was quite insane. Well, hello, Ryan. Ryan says, man, Faker is doing so well. Imagine how well people in Will's top 20 must be doing. Top 10. Well, I would argue that some of them are doing pretty good, at least. I would say that the Shy's doing amazing. I think Tarzan's look great outside of against G2. I think Yankos played pretty bad. Tian had a fantastic game. Doinby's look pretty. Doinby's look great. Uzi's look fantastic, and Showmakers look good. I got like 5 of them playing well right now. Ryan, thank you very much. Let's just hide this one though. No, we don't. No one needs to see that one. That one is a mystery. Who's at number 11 there? Yeah, that one could be any player you imagine. Yeah, oh well. How are you doing, Ryan? Yeah, I know that answer. You're not doing well. I asked you that, and then I instantly realized that you're like on life support at the moment from stress. At least you wouldn't be as stressed as if you were a Gam fan. But all of them better than Faker, right? Well, if you take pre-Worlds, yes. Yes, absolutely. I will stick to that pre-Worlds. But all of them better than Faker right now? No. Absolutely not. Oh, man. You're over it by now? Oh, boy. Well, you unfortunately for C9, you only have 1 day of practice, so you're gonna have to. It's really unfair. It seems like a very shitty schedule. That like Group A has 1 day off, and Group D gets 5 days off. Like that doesn't make much sense to me personally. The toxins have run their course. Yeah, I mean, we'll even talk here. Just Fun Plus Phoenix versus GAM. This game has put me completely back on track with Fun Plus Phoenix, and I'll tell you why. Fun Plus Phoenix, Doinby's teams are known for never making it past or to Worlds. They haven't made it to Worlds before. Very nerve-wracking, I guess, being on that stage, and they're playing against teams like Splice and J-Team and Splice originally that do not play like an LPL style. So they're playing a style that Fun Plus Phoenix is not accustomed to, with a very, very slowed out pace, very slow. And that's why it's inexcusable to an extent that they should be in those positions because they are way better than both those teams. But I think that Fun Plus was kind of caught off guard with that kind of style of play being so successful, as the only team that kind of plays that way is Billy, and to a very slight extent RNG. RNG plays slow to an LPL level, but compared to the rest of the world, they play pretty fast actually. But for when they're in the LPL against all these other fast teams, they actually look slow. But Billy does play slow, so they do have a little bit of experience of it, but it's not very common in the LPL to play slow at all. So that caught them off guard. They kind of choked a little bit. They looked like nerves, but now they get GAM, who is a team that's very fast paced, just like they're used to it. Probably faster than they're used to, but that is in their comfort zone though. That's in their wheelhouse. They love playing against teams that want to fight because they want to fight back, and they're usually going to win those fights unless they're facing J Team for some reason. But usually, FunPlus Phoenix is going to win every single team fight, no matter what team is playing. They are the best team fighting team in the world, and it happened. I mean, they got early kills. The TN on the Kiana looked fantastic. I mean, they just snowballed out of control in this game. If you thought the clutch series was bad, or game was bad against SKT, this one was even worse. This was almost a 10k gold lead this was 10k gold. This was an 11k gold lead by 20 minutes. But I mean, hell, it was like a 5k gold lead by 15 minutes, 7k gold lead by 15 minutes. It was absurd. It was the largest gold lead we've ever had. It's also the quickest game we've ever had, as the game actually ended in 23:33. This puts me right back on board with FunPlus. I've downgraded them from S Plus though, from my original thing, but they're still right back at S, and I still have them as my personal favorites to win the tournament. And this group actually turned out to be a very big benefit for them, I think, by having this big group of life. They're actually able to calm some of those nerves before going into these intense plays with some of the better teams, I think. And I totally think they'll still go 5-1 in this group. I'm back on full belief. GAM, however, again disappointed for the second time, and they've had some troubling games so far. J Team versus Splyce. I called this one. I'm so upset that I didn't get to talk about this at on the podcast last night. But this one, I was totally fine with this one. I thought, hang on. Before I mentioned that, Ryan did say, honestly, I think that's a bad thing. If the enemy team isn't pushing the pace and you aren't taking the reins and making the enemy team dance to your tempo, they're failing in doing so against vastly inferior teams. Yeah, I think, but I just think it's nerves, in my opinion. I think it was nerves and they were uncomfortable. It was just a multitude of things making them uncomfortable and nervous at the same time, and I think that's what really was the issue. I think coming into the next week, I think they're going to be able to handle J Team and Splyce just fine. I don't think there will prove to be any match for them, personally. But yeah, Splyce versus J Team. They're both very slow teams, and that's what we broke it down on our pregame predictions, with GAM being second, J Team Splyce being third, because at the time, slow teams weren't necessarily winning all the time. They were in the wild card, but that kind of always happens in wild card, because if you can't basically pop them in the mouth, hit them fast, you lose. All the better teams just have to play slow, and they're just going to win the game by just a raw talent. They hit you with your, they always like to say, they hit them with their wallets. They're so far ahead. When it's such a different skill difference, they just like to hit them with the talent, kind of. And overall, that talent, just the percentage of making the plays and outplaying your opponent is so high that you just need one time to eventually do it. And that's kind of how I didn't take the slow thing too seriously from the wildcard plans coming into this. But now coming into the group stage, it's actually the slow teams winning more than the fast teams for the most part. And the slow teams are kind of dragging out the game a lot more than we've seen all of the year long, and at Worlds last year, and at MSI this year. It was the exact opposite. At MSI, it was all the fast teams that were winning. So I'm really curious, because there wasn't too many meta changes around this. This is outside of maybe Orianna getting a little bit of buff, but I don't think that's the main reason that this is happening. So I'm very curious if this continues to be a trend in the group stage, and if it continues throughout the quarters as well, because some of our fastest teams are most likely getting through as 1 seeds with G2 and FunPlus Phoenix. So we'll see if that can possibly result in an upset for maybe one of those teams in quarters, or if it's just another thing of a best of one type scenario that's causing this issue. But speaking of the slow teams, J Team and Splyce were both two very slow teams, and I just thought J Team was flat out better than Splyce. I've been a big fan of J Team since they're the only team that makes the LMS watchable. So that's why ginormous fan as you know. I've had Splice going last in this group, and people are like, oh, but J Team's unknown. I picked Gam above them because of that, where fast teams were always beating slow teams, and that made sense. I'm regretting that decision. That's one of the very few regrets I have so far with my predictions. I think that's actually the only regret I have so far, is that I would rather have J Team there instead of Gam. That's the only thing I would change out of any of my predictions so far. I think the rest of them are doing pretty good at the moment, and I'm happy. I'm actually really happy with, like I said at the beginning of the show, that I'm really happy with how things are going. But yeah, J Team pretty much just outbeat Splice at their own game the whole game through. Like, I mean, Splice had a up to a 1.5k gold lead at 15 minutes, but J Team played it slow. That's what they always do. They do it every single LMS game, but they just outplayed him. Fofo was just vastly superior to Humanoid, which I 100% thought originally. I wanted to sneak Fofo into my top 20 players. I couldn't justify it with him having no international experience and being a complete unknown and only playing against the LMS, which is like one of the worst regions. Who's actually not playing terrible, by the way. I will give the LMS quite a bit of credit. They're playing much better this year. They're not coming out with a lot of wins, obviously, but they're playing much more competitive than they were last year. And but yeah, but Fofo, I would love the player so much. And again, we've talked about Lil V before when he upset Fun Plus Phoenix. The man is having the best worlds of his life, best international. Apparently, this man is a clutch international performer. I mean, he's always been the number 2 carry, but he's been even the number 1 carry at times for this. So they basically just had a phenomenal game. Koala actually had a really good game as well, which I know. I shouldn't say that's surprising because Koala is pretty good. Obviously, all of them are good for them going undefeated at in the LMS this year, but like Koala has always had like those shaky games as well, and even Rest popped off kind of a bit on the Gangplank. I thought Vizichache actually played pretty well on the Scion. I wasn't too upset with that. Norscarin was enting all over the place on Leona. Like, I feel like you could almost, outside of the warding, because I'm sure he warded way better than me. Yeah, 76 wards. I don't think I've ever put 76 wards down in my life. I ward as a support, but like pro level wars, it's insane. like the amount of warding pros do compared to solo queue is quite crazy. But yeah, you could throw me in there for some of those engages that were quite terrible. I've had those games learning myself where, I mean, it actually felt like it really felt like that Splice was on the wrong page all game. Oh, not true, Ryan. NA has an extra 1 win than LMS. It's not the same pace. But yeah. I mean, honestly, that's actually kind of how I'd. No, no. My Group A, Group C, and Group D, all of my. Actually, yeah, I'll say yes. That's pretty much how I had it, because I had Team Liquid actually starting out 0-2, because I had them losing to IG and Damwon originally, and then you guys made me switch over to that. Still salty. Nah, but I had Team Liquid starting originally 0-2, so they would be 1-2. I had J Team starting 1-2, and I had, so that would have been 1-2 1-2. But then C9 I had 1-2 as well. I had Clutch 0-3, and I had HK and AHQ 0-3 0-3. So it's about the same if you think about it that in that sense. LMS is also not in the group of death though, which is, I'll give them slight negative for that. And the reason why they're not in the group of death is kind of why it's a group of death, if you think about it in that sense as well. But yeah, J Team, look at this slow ending. Like, they took forever to end, but I mean, the casters were kind of like, oh, Kabe has 6 items now. Like, them delaying so long is kind of cost them. I didn't really think so, because personally, I know I might be crazy. I think Kai'Sa scales better and has better opportunity than Tristana. Tristana has resets and stuff, but Kai'Sa has game-changing ults, I feel like, personally. That's just a personal thing I've had. I like Kai'Sa better than Tristana in the late game, because I think she can make so much work. She has a lot more poke, long-range poke, and she has a lot more tank burst. Like, she can, even if you catch out a tank, like they did with Vizichache, like, Fofo's, like, chains that he kept landing and the constant Lil V's W's and Q's were really shredding Vizichase, so he wasn't that tanky anymore. I don't think Tristana can do that as effectively. And they also have Gangplank up top, which scales like crazy. LeBlanc, which scales way better than Syndra. And then, I mean, Gragas is a playmaker, but they did have Karthus. So they had about 2 scalers with Karthus and Tristana, but I thought they scaled much better on, and they're scaled much better, and they're 10k gold ahead. So they were all at their max builds already, like on almost every. Yeah, as you can see, Gangplank max build, LeBlanc max build, Kaisa max build, where you have still need an item here for humanoid. You still need 2 items here for Vizichase, and that's on tank econ as well. And so items are a little cheaper for tanks. You still need 2 items here for Karthus. So they were still missing quite a few items. If this game would have gone another 10 minutes, then I see it happening, because now you're all of a sudden you're only 1 item away or half an item away type deal. But even then, I thought J Team had so much control over the map. They were just trying to play it safe. They were just trying to play it safe the whole time. Like they've taken Baron, Elder, like they had control of everything. I didn't think Splice had a chance back in. All right. Ryan's favorite game. C9 versus Griffin. Ooh, I have problems with this draft. And Ryan also has problems with the draft, as he pointed out. So, right at the start, you bait Griffin into going Garen Yumi. Okay, interesting. But you pair that up against Sona Tahm Kench. Already my first red flag here. Oh, and you first picked Elise. You first picked Elise for Blabber. Okay, cool. That's fine. Blabber's a beast on Elise, and that makes sense. Like you want early game pressure with Blabber. That is Blabber. He's going to give you early game pressure regardless if you want it or not. And you're gonna want to get the ball rolling. So then you picked Sona Tahm Kench, which is already bad, because we're already questioning here, because if you want Elise to get rolling, you don't want a bot lane who needs to take 20 minutes to get rolling. You're already mixing up. You're having one of two. You need to go one way with your team comp. You can't go multiple ways like that. So instead, and I also hate the Sona Tahm Kench, because Sona Tahm Kench is great for aggressive lanes. Like something that's going to kill the Sona over and over and over again, like say a Draven or a Caitlyn or a Jhin, Lucian, Brand, like Zyra, Misfortune, Ashe even a little bit with her ult. So boom, like anything that has a lot of CC or burst damage. Garen Yumi kind of want to sit on the tower until level 9 before they get their power spike. They just kind of want to sit there and pretend that they're an ADC and just hope that you don't murder them real quick. So why not take Sona Taric, which is a lot worse in lane than Sona Tahm Kench, because you can't save yourself. You don't have the mana yet to heal constantly. You don't have the amount of AP to heal constantly in the scaling. But when time goes on, you do, and you get a bunch of healing, and instead of saving someone, you just kind of fully heal the team at all times, so no one can ever die from poke. But you don't have to worry about any pressure when there's Garen Yumi on the other side. They can't really engage on you, so you can kind of play it safe. So that's already mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is there, because mistake number 1 is drafting that in the first place with Elise. Mistake number 3 is, now that you have this bot lane that you want to scale, so Elise can't really bother bot lane, you put up top lane, you put Fiora. So now with the Sona, you are waiting until team fights that you can team fight with the Sona and win the game. That's just how it works. Because Sona gets to a hyper carry level that she just wins team fights. So now you're gonna pick Elise, who's falling off. Licorice on Fiora, who at the time I liked the pick if you didn't have this other stuff, because I love Fiora into Griffin, because Sword is not great on carries outside of Jace for the most part, and they banned Jace, so I thought this was very smart if you didn't pick the Sona Tahm Kench. And because now that puts Sword in a situation, if he picks a tank, Fiora's going to shred them with their true damage, he's not comfortable enough on carries, so you can really snowball that lane, which we saw happen. in this game, and that's how C9 actually had about a 4K lead at 25 minutes. You'll notice here, this is minions. This says minions, but I mean, it was honestly Fiora pretty much every single time on those towers, just taking all those towers away from, just taking all the towers away, especially right here at this Baron. Took the inhib tower, ran all the way back, died, and C9 took Baron. Great. Okay, you're playing the 4-1 correctly. I get it. I'm still confused about the draft, but you're not. There's not enough damage on here to kill late game Garen, and that's kind of what happened. They would kind of get run down because a LeBlanc, a Garen, and a Yuumi walk into a bar and then they run you down. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, and then you have Gangplank ult to slow you. So as they were all running towards you, you're slowed, and then you also have Lee Sin who can ward hop to you. So they're all very good at chasing, and you can't escape. Instant pop on Sona. Sneaky also didn't play the Sona too great, I thought. He did 34k damage, but I didn't think it was that great of it. Again, Reaper on these drafts. Sneaky's been on a mage 3 times, and you guys have lost twice and probably should have lost all 3. But, man, this is unacceptable from C9. I thought this game was very winnable. Also, not to mention, we're playing Blabber. We've only seen since Garen. Was he in the HQ game? I'm totally blanking. He was in the HQ game, right? Like, I'm literally gonna go to day 2 to find out because I am blanking. But, like, why? He's the MVP of NA, and you don't have him. Yeah, okay, thank you. He was on Elise. He can play Elise. It makes me angry. And Cloud9 really needs to get together because, I don't know, they're giving Svenskeren study material, I guess. I understand that theory against G2 a little bit. It's annoying, but I get it. But to do it against Griffin, you need to try and take a win against Griffin. I was telling my brother, who's also a big C9 fan, like, you cannot just throw a game away against a team that now you have to beat them. If you do not beat Griffin, you have to beat them for a tiebreaker. And you have to hope that they don't beat G2, which is, at the moment, looking okay. Unless G2 trolls to get NA out of Worlds, which could happen. You never know with G2. But yeah, like, you have to beat HQ or HKA, which is not a pushover. And as much as I thought they would be, they're a complete pass. I think they're playing so great compared to what I thought they would be. So I'm very happy with them. But and then you have to beat Griffin now just to force a tiebreaker. And you're putting that much pressure on yourself because you want to study film? I don't agree with that decision by the coaching staff whatsoever. Try and win every game you can at Worlds, because especially in group stage, every single game matters. Every single one matters. I can tell you that from a Team Liquid fan. When Team Liquid did their jobs last year, went 3-3. They split with EDG. They 2-0'd Mad, and then they got 0-2'd to KT. They did their jobs, cool. Every game matters though, and EDG pulled the game off of KT, and they won, and that's why they moved on. They got it 4-2 in group instead of They went 4-2 instead of 3-3 because every single game matters. You got to try and win every single game, no matter the way. By the way, I'd argue that mistake number 1 was first picking Elise. Yeah, that too. I get it on Blabber, but, like, again, you're blind picking Elise on blue side. Like, it's weird. It's weird. Yep. Yeah. C9 has only played Elise jungle this game, and it hasn't really looked great. I can't blame Blabber in these games. That's the issue. I don't think Blabber has been the problem. I think they brought it up in the broadcast. It's C9 with Blabber have worse shot calling in the mid to late game as they do. They look better in early, but I don't think Blabber shot calls as well as Svenskeren mid to late, and that's where C9 is absolutely falling apart. But let's talk about G2 and HKA. I think that this game was actually really close. HKA, man, they started out very bad. Caps got a kill in the solo lane. He had Jankos help him, but it was just an instant kill on mission. Then teleports bot and gets a triple kill, or a double kill to add to a 3-kill lead for him with 3 minutes into the game. I believe we're 4 minutes into the game actually, but he was already 3-0. And after that though, HKA got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unanswered kills plus 3 towers and a Rift Herald. Like, they were doing good. Like all the way up until they were down 200 gold at 24 minutes. This was a dead even game with the actual better scaling. We have Oriana outscales Caps or Syndra. We have Xayah outscales Yasuo. We have Gangplank does not outscale Vladimir. Gragas does outscale Lee Sin though, and Rakan and Thresh are kind of equal. So they had better scaling, and they're sitting at a 200 like a dead even game at 24 minutes. I think that I was impressed with that. Is HKA the best 3 team at Worlds right now? That's a very good question. Weirdly enough, Clutch Gaming isn't even in my thought process. It's between HKA and AHQ. And I think AHQ's played pretty well too. They played pretty good against IG and they played really good against Team Liquid. But yeah, I gotta give it. I mean, HKA's had two really. They almost beat Cloud9. They had it here with G2 until G2 flipped the switch on that Baron. Instantly took the Baron, got 4 kills with it. It got an Infernal on top of that, and got 5 kills and won the game. That was G2 switch was like that, and that is terrifying. They are consistently able to do that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing G2 for moving on probably, but just real that'll be very scary for the rest of the world. But yeah, those are the predictions, and we don't. I guess we'll do predictions after for this. But I actually want to go through with my teams that have been disappointing to me and teams that I think have stepped above. For the most part, if you just look at stats, like from where I predicted people, I picked G2 to go 5-1. My new prediction for them, I'm gonna move it over here. Um, week after week 1 predictions. That sounds cool. Also, if you ever noticed me with these double R's or triple R's, my R key is somewhat broken on my computer, and I still with the layoff, I really don't want to spend money on a brand new keyboard when it's only the R key. That messes up like that. But yeah, so yep, see it right there again. It's really weird. I've tried taking the key off and putting it back on, but it doesn't work. Group A, I still have G2 as number 1. We're actually going to just copy this. I think I haven't. There's only one change I'm going to make, but I want to change records. I think G2 is going to go 6-0. I think Griffin is going to go 4-2. I still think C9 is going to go 2-4. And I think HK is going 0-6. Even though HK has played hell of a game, I think NA always steps up, or at least C9 will always step up in the later it goes on in the tournament, and I think they'll be able to take down HKA. I don't think C9 takes down Griffin though, just with the way they're playing right now. The bot, I think we got caught. I'm hoping this isn't the case, because again, Cloud9 is probably the team I'm rooting for second at Worlds. Team Liquid number 1, Cloud9 number 2, Clutch 3, and then like FunPlus Phoenix and IG 4 and 5 and stuff like that. And J Team. I'm a big fan of J Team now with how much they've improved. But so I'm worried. Which is more likely? C9 beats Griffin or HK beats C9. It's more likely in my eyes right now. Unless C9 make massive changes over this next day of break, I absolutely believe it's HK. See, I want to believe it's C9, but like the bot lane, which we've known has been their biggest weakness all year, and Niski really hasn't done great as well. But I almost want to say that's because Niski and Svenskeren have such a good synergy, and they really haven't used it at all. Like so, Niski doesn't really have that synergy with Svenskeren because of that. But so I want to see Svenskeren playing all 3 games, no matter what. I'm sorry, Blabber, you played fine. It wasn't your fault. But I need to see Svenskeren, the MVP of the LCS. You have to put him in the do or die situation. It doesn't make any sense not to. You're not 100 Thieves. You better not be 100 Thieves in Benjamin Cody's son type situation. And even then, Cody Son wasn't the MVP of the LCS. And it's even worse than that scenario. But I think the bot lane is with Sneaky and Zeyzal. We haven't seen Sneaky on a marksman yet, to be fair, but and like Ryan, you gave us a stat that was like mages have 1-8 or something like that at World so far, and the only win was the Heimerdinger win for C9 over HKA, which was barely a win type situation. Man, you could really argue. I don't want to say. I want to believe in the C9 magic still with Sneak, because Sneaky's always been very consistent at Worlds. He's always stepped up, and I think maybe now that we've seen him play worse this year than he's ever played before, I think that's really caught up to him at Worlds. I'm just hoping that maybe if he plays a marksman that turns around, but if he does and it still doesn't look great, I don't know. Ryan says that honestly harsh take on Blabber. He was fine, but he didn't really get anything actually going in either game, despite being an early game dive to gank champion and leaves. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. I don't think. Um. Yeah, like just looking back at it, none of his ganks have really snowballed anything too much. You can argue he snowballed Flickrish a little bit in the top lane, but I think that happens regardless. But yeah, outside of that, Niski was always behind every time. The bot lane's always behind every time. Though, to Blabber's credit, I think the bot lane was behind whether he was there or not. The bot lane is being really outplayed right now at World so far. So I hope they improve. My only change of from pre groups to week one. I'm gonna call that pre groups. Pre groups to week one is I have J Team going number 2, and I have Gam going 4. I'm very, very upset with Gam. I'm gonna have a 5-1. I'm gonna have a 4-2, and I'm gonna have a. I don't think Gam wins a game after this. I'm 1-5, and then a splice 2-4. So this is my only difference so far. I'm upset that Gam is disappointing me. I know for you, Ryan, C9 is probably your most disappointing group so far, or team at Worlds. But for me, if I look at every team, I think that Gam has been my most disappointing thing, or team at Worlds. I think that I've had a big. I'll just highlight them now because these are staying the same. I'll change these to 6-0, 4-2, 2-4, 0-6. These are like even. I'm keeping same everything here. I think that those are going to be the exact same. Still, I'm still holding faith on Group C and Group D. But yeah, so my most disappointing teams at Worlds. Number 1 is Gam. They are a very fast team, the best that Gam has ever been with Levi and Zeros. Zeros is finally playing well at International. If you notice, the only issue with Zeros is like MSI and stuff. He wasn't playing well, and even at Worlds last year, he also didn't play great. It was Big Kuro that was really stepping up for PvB constantly for them at International events. Now Zeros is stepping up, and the rest of Gam is really falling down. Levi's been okay, but I think Zeros has been their best player so far, and Levi's been the second best. But their bot lane, which was the weakness coming in, is very weak right now. They're really getting exposed. Petition to refer to them as GAM and consider the actual Gigabyte Marines is retired. I like the name Gigabyte Marines though, but yeah, their name is technically GAM now, and they're not the Gigabyte Marines anymore. They're just GAM. They've been the most disappointing. The second most disappointing is not C9 actually. It's actually Fnatic for me. I think Fnatic has played absolutely like trash. They got killed to SKT. They should have absolutely lost to Clutch Gaming if Huni did not give them that gifted win. They are 0-3 coming into week 2, and they are sunk. If Huni doesn't literally jump in with Tristana every single time and just die immediately. And then they just got beat pretty bad to RNG as well. Like really, really bad. And C9 is also my third team, so it goes Gigabyte Marines, Fnatic, and C9. For my 3, those are the only 3 teams that I am just like, you are playing below expectations at the moment, personally, from what I expected. I know C9 and Fnatic both are exactly at the record I had predicted them from the pre-groups. But it's a difference between being at that record and looking worse. Especially when it comes to like Fnatic. I expected them to play SKT and RNG very, very close, but ultimately fall in the end. and then just blow out Clutch Gaming personally. But they did not do any of those. The gold was close in SKT, but that game was actually more of a blowout than the RNG game in my opinion because SKT had full control. Fnatic had a little bit of control early on in this game, and so I'll give them that credit. But then once we got to like later game where they were supposed to excel with the kill, they really just dropped the ball on every one of those team fights at the Baron and around the Baron and even around the Rift Herald, just in that river. Third, a game, or I guess it's technically a second game. Sorry for that, but was Clutch Gaming, and they absolutely, I'm not even close. Like they should not have won that game. There's no doubt in my mind that if Huni doesn't jump in, Fnatic is 0-3. I'm still salty about that game. For that is, if I had to highlight a game, screw it. Clutch is also on this disappointing thing, but I had zero expectations for them going in, so I can't really put them too high on that on that disappointment chart. But they should have won that game, and that's been the most disappointing game so far at Worlds for me, like by far. Ryan's. You're actually thinking that C9 and Fnatic are scrim partners? Possibly, because they have been bad. They've been really bad. Teams that have been impressing me so far, like from just a personal opinion, my number one impressing team is absolutely J Team. J Team has been by far and away the most impressive team to me from what I expected from them. They upset FunPlus Phoenix, which I think is one of the biggest upsets in like a best of one that you can do. I think that they destroyed Splyce. I thought they were better than Splyce, but they dismantled Splyce at their own game, which I was very impressed with. Unfortunately, they did drop the Gigabyte Marines, which is really funny when you think about it. I think the team that's impressed me the most, like from their standard, in the team that's disappointed me the most. J Team's impressed me the most. Gigabyte Marines have disappointed me the most, but Gigabyte Marines did beat J Team. That's a very weird thing about this. it's a very interesting like little caveat of this. I would say G2. In the next two are G2, SKT, and RNG have really impressed me. I guess that's three, William. But G2 and SKT both came into the tournament looking to dominate, but they have dominated so well to the point where I'm like, okay, these teams are like, I am very happy to have them in S tier, like so far. Like I would revoke Fnatic's S tier to almost a B tier at this point with the way they've played, and I would have my top four. I am solid with them all staying at S tier and where they're at. FunPlus Phoenix, you might be like, why FunPlus Phoenix? Because I had them at S plus. I would drop them down to S tier at this point. But I think all four of those teams are absolutely tournament threats at the moment. I would drop Fnatic from the S tier all the way down to B tier because I've been super disappointed in them. Let's see. HKA I've been impressed with as well. I don't really have like a standard, so I don't want to say like I'll just give everyone a pass failure so far. HKA haven't won, but they've been competitive, and that's where I'm okay with. Griffin, middle, even. I'll do yellow for even. Like haven't impressed me, but haven't disappointed me at the same time. FunPlus Phoenix, same thing. This would have been red if they didn't have such a dominant performance against Gam. I was very disappointed in their first two games, but they did overcome the Splyce game and eventually win it, while they also just completely destroyed Gam. So that one, they've moved back from disappointing to just meh, and I think that they're in an okay spot there. We'll see on week 2. They're the team I want to watch the most on week 2, depending to see if they... But G2 Green, I think... Griffin even, but G2 Green. I think it's because G2 Green, like, I guess they had higher. You're right. They had higher expectations. I'm gonna move G2 to a green or even as well. You're absolutely right there because they really did not look great against HKA, but they kind of blew out Griffin and they kind of blew out C9 after a little bit of shaky start. But compared to SKT, I think. G2 looks surprisingly. My worry is that G2 is taking a play out of IG's game book and or playbook and just doing the happy games. I think they're gonna lock it down soon. I think they're not taking the games too seriously. Not that they usually do, but I think that they'll be locked in later. But I do agree that because of that, they did play sloppy against HKA, and they did play a little bit sloppy against Cloud9. So I'm gonna keep them at yellow. You changed my mind. Splice, I'm actually going to give a green to. I think that they got blown out to J Team. They handled Gam as about as well as you possibly could as Splice, and they just made Gam irrelevant in their early game, which is very impressive to me. I think Gam made themselves irrelevant, to be honest, with their team comp and with just not being aggressive at all, which is their style. And then they got really, really, really close to beating FunPlus Phoenix, and that. So I think that even though they're 1-2, and I don't expect them to get more wins outside of 2-4 and be eliminated, I do have them as a pass so far after the first week. IG, they're about where I thought they'd be. They're 1-1 or they're 2-1. As a C9 fan, I'm not a one to buy stock in a team tactically ending at this point in group stage. Oh man, I think that IG has looked. They've had the really good highs while beating Team Liquid, but they've had lows as well by getting beat by Damwon. And I think that's just what Group D is. I honestly think if you could, that I think IG, TL, and Damwon are so equal. They would be, along with Griffin, my three. I would put them all probably. I don't know because I don't know if any of them have faced a team like G2, but Griffin kind of got dismantled to G2 and we're really close with C9, and I think that I'd put these three above Griffin at the moment, but they'd still all be in the same tier. They'd be in the A tier. But I'd probably have at the moment IG, TL, Damwon, like just dead even. Dead even. So I think it's literally 50-50-50 or 33-33-33 in this group. like it is so close. It is every game is a coin toss between these three teams, and that's what I predicted from that. This is the only group I have tiebreakers going in, and I have a three-way tie, and I still think that's going to stand. Team Liquid has impressed me so far. They get a pass. Sounds a little biased, but I really, really, really thought they were going to go 1-2 to start, and just slowly, and just like slowly over time, kind of download their opponents. I think Team Liquid's better at that than they're not great at a blind. Obviously, it's not blind; you have tape on them, but I think they adapt better overall as the tournament proceeds, as we saw it at MSI even 2 years ago or a year ago when they started a 1-5 or something like that, and then proceeded to get all the way up to a tiebreaker with Fnatic and lost. So like you really, there's so many times like you can totally tell the history is written by the victors. Team Liquid had amazing comeback and lost that tiebreaker, seen as a complete failure. If they would have won that tiebreaker, it would have been seen as amazing. Next year at Worlds, they kind of started out really slow, dropping two games to even almost dropping a game to Mad. They were losing like a lot of games and getting blown out by EDG and KT twice, and then they eventually beat EDG in the second time around. So, and then even at MSI this year, they really struggled at the beginning again, and then they eventually went all the way up to the finals. Like just like that's just what happens for Team Liquid. So I really expected them to lose to Damwon in the first game after Damwon had already had some play-in experience and like they were already kind of adjusted a bit. So that insanely impressed me that they were able to beat Damwon. Slipped up against IG, but it was a very close game. Again, IG is not to be messed with, I don't think, as well. And I think that and then their HQ game was very shaky. Their HQ game would almost remove this green from them. I really had a problem with interviews with Doublelift and Jensen. If you watched the Liquid update from Avali, if you don't, you should, because Avali is a very, very, very funny person, like a complete memer. But her interview with Doublelift, and he said that he doesn't know a single player on AHQ. I'm like, that's just very disrespectful to AHQ in the first place. They are at Worlds, and I know they are mediocre in the LMS. They are going to play up to a level. They're going to play the best they could. And for being NA, we should not be taking any games lightly whatsoever. Hang on. Ryan has said, I think it's sadly possible that Team Liquid lose to both IG and Damwon in the second round robin, especially if they play sloppy like they did versus HQ. I agree. Take it from a C9 fan. Your top laner can't always bail your mid laner running it down. Isn't that right, Wolf? Oh man, I showed Ryan a video of Wolf, and that's literally. We can show it on stream. Let's do that. Let's just show it here. Um, Brian literally just messaged me that it's such a great reaction. But here you go.
아이 별게 다 신경 쓰이네 거슬리네.
This was during Team Liquid versus
이게 뭐가
AHQ,
중요하다고.
obviously, and regarding Jensen's very interesting Oriana game.
너무 거버리냐? 아니 덕구 형은 저거 한대 오케이. 젠슨! 젠슨! 아이 별게 다 신경 쓰이네 거슬리네.
It's an amazing reaction by Wolf. I love that reaction so much. It's literally how I was feeling inside pretty much the entire game. I was just so angry at Jensen the entire time. But yeah, both Liquid or Doubleth and Jensen. Jensen said he didn't know any players except for Ziv, who Ziv has been on the team for a while. And this is AHQ's first time at Worlds. He played against Ziv before, like he said, and like he didn't know any of the other ones. They're new. I'm like, that's don't take your opponents lightly at an international championship where all the best of the best are there. Is it that hard to? Is it that hard? We're NA. Like, we don't have the credentials to disrespect people. We are not the MSI champions of G2. We are not Korea. Like, we like it makes me so angry. Like, did you say Div? No, it's Ziv. Right? What? Did I say his name wrong? No, it's Ziv. It's Ziv. I might have said Dave, but Ziv of all people should know HQ. He dropped out in groups with them last time. Yeah, exactly. Like Alex was the LMS MVP. You're telling me you aren't paying attention enough to focus on the MVP of the LMS? Like that should be priority number one when you're focusing on AHQ. Like you can't. Those interviews really much irked me. I felt it was very disrespectful, and when I was watching that game, I was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, they literally did zero prep for this team whatsoever. Also, they did have that situation with, I wanted to talk about that more yesterday, unfortunately, the headache, but they did have the situation where the Core JJ was also, I guess, sloppy enough and not in going through his checklist and saying it's fine, even though it was in Korean, and you can't type on Korean on an English keyboard, so he couldn't find Rumble, so that's why they did the no ban, and Rumble almost won AHQ at the game. So if Rumble gets banned, does that game turn around? Probably, because Team Liquid was at such a high, like, really good lead at the beginning with a gold lead, but it was also very sloppy plays by Jensen in the first place. It was the Nautilus catching Jensen out for the most part, and I mean, the Rumble had a very big effect, so I will say that, but it still shouldn't be an excuse to play as sloppy as they did in that game. Damwon is also going to get a. They're gonna get They're gonna get a pass as well. They lost to Team Liquid, but they dominated AHQ and they beat IG pretty well, so they're gonna get a pass. And AHQ also gets a. They should have beat Team Liquid. Probably was pretty good against IG, but then they kind of got crushed to Damwon. That was the one game that they got crushed to. So I'm fairly easy grader. I feel like I don't, at least with the teams that are like 0-6 or like that I had. Because if I have no expectations for you, you really shouldn't be failing my expectations. Like, that's just kind of how it goes. Where, if you look at Clutch Gaming, they have failed my expectations. Yeah, so I'd have 4 teams so far. I played under level to what they should. And I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that played above level. That doesn't mean all of them are going to make it out. Obviously, for sure, honestly, probably 3 of those 8 teams aren't going to make it out. Like, so that kind of sucks. But they'll probably get a pass on my eventual list, my Power Rankings pre-Worlds list here. But yeah, I think that is pretty much those predictions for, and that's my updated group predictions from that, and if they've passed or failed so far. And the only thing I've changed is J Team and Splice and Gam. All I did was just move Gam from 2 to 4. It's the only change, and moved everyone up from there. It's the only change I've made. I think that for the most part, my pre-group has been pretty spot on. Like Group C has been really good. I think Group D, even though Group D looks good or has potential to look good, but it also has potential to look real bad. Bad, excuse me. It's on such a nice edge, you know. Who do you have getting out of Group B and D? I still have FunPlus Phoenix number one, and I've changed. I had GAM originally getting out of B. I have J Team getting out of B, which I think I put in one of my pick'ems. I have two pick'ems, so I think in one of them I actually switched J Team and GAM, and I think that was one of the only changes I actually did in that. I'll have to check off stream, but yeah, so I originally had GAM. I'm changing it to J Team. I'm still sticking with IG coming out in first in Group D and Team Liquid coming out in second. I still have Damwon being eliminated. I think that it's going to be a high pressure tiebreaker situation. I think Damwon's going to choke in that scenario. I don't. That group is such a knife. Like Group D is by far, in my opinion, the closest skill level group of all of them, just between three teams. Like you can have like G2 is like here, Griffin's here, C9's here, FBX is here, J Team's here, Splice and Gamma are here, SKT's here, RNG's here, Fnatic and Clutch are way over here. But then you have like IG's here, Team Liquid's here, Damwon's here, and AHQ's back here. But like you have three teams that are like equal skill level, like exactly the same. So it's a terrifying group as a Team Liquid fan personally and an IG fan for the most part. There's a little bias in there, I guess, from me wanting them out, but I still really do believe that when the pressure's on, I'm very nervous about the rookies on Damwon being able to secure a tiebreaker win. I think the veteran, weirdly enough, I'm picking NA in a tiebreaker, but I think the veteran leadership, or just like how they're all old as hell on Team Liquid compared to Damwon, that's really going to calm the nerves in a tiebreaker scenario. And I think that they can do it. They already beat Damwon once. If they can just beat Damwon a second time, I'll feel much, much, much better. But I don't think they will. I think they will beat IG in the second round, though. I don't know yet. I really don't know. This group scares me. The group is so close. But with that, do we have anything? I know we still have predictions for Group A, but we can kind of see how my predictions are going to be. I really want to... When does Group A start? Okay, Group... No, go here. When does Group A start? Day 5. Group B plays first? Oh. Huh. Why doesn't it go A, B, C, D? That's what I totally thought it went. I totally thought it went A, B, C, D like that. Oh, well, we're picking Group B first. So, it starts at 9 a.m. I should be able to make a 9 a.m., William. Jesus Christ. I'm unemployed for, like, like one time, and I stay up for 3 a.m. again. Like, I'm, like, back in college or something. That is really weird that B plays first. Oh, man. You'd think of anything, D would play first, so they only get 2 days off type situation. Honestly, I don't like the whole thing in the first place, because I think D would play first. See, I don't even know. I think that having just one group play all of them like every single day is just like kind of weird, if that makes sense. Like I don't like it. Don't like it. But okay. I think you should still have a mix, in my opinion. But I don't make the rules. So what we're gonna do, I think it's because A was the last group to start the round. Okay, maybe that might be true. But what we're gonna do here is we're going to make predictions, and I'm gonna try and wake up for the games. It also kind of helps when I don't wake up for the games. It's kind of nice though, because like I usually wake up in the middle of game 2 or 3, so I get to skip all the like breaks until about game 4, like until like I catch up usually in game 5. I catch up the live. Usually just watch the VOD, like the Twitch VOD on the back end of it, and I usually catch up game 5. So if there's any pauses or anything, I can just skip right through, and that makes it nice. So I'm going to make my predictions tonight on the podcast. And then I will say, though, the predictions are subject to change as I will go live during the games if I'm awake. How's that? Because I don't want to because I think momentum is huge on a one-day thing. if teams like if GAM upsets Fun Plus Phoenix, I want to change my GAM pick on J Team, or on Splice and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just having one day of games. There's momentum is a major thing in my opinion. I don't think you have enough time to recoup, and like you have to bring your A game at the beginning of it. Like, but then you run the risk of me spoiling the shit out of you in anger. Yeah, I literally. I woke up today. I was very glad C9 had not played yet because I woke up to 28 Discord messages by Ryan. And I'm like, I'll read those in about 6 hours. I'm like, I literally went to Discord. Like, let's see. If you don't mind, Ryan, I'll pull them up here. But I just went like this. And then I looked down, I like clicked on it, and I went down, and I just went scroll. All right, that's red, and minimize, so I don't have 28 messages. Like I had a big 28 or 9 plus right there. Like Jesus Christ, Ryan. And then after the games, I went through and read them all. Like, oh yeah, I like this point. And here I'm like, oh, I disagree with that one. You're making a lot of good points there. I appreciated reading that. I just needed 6 hours to wait before I could read that. So yeah, we're going to. We're going to try and get that hopefully live. I really that's my worst part. Even the work, I'm very thankful. I work at a very flexible hours job. So if I come in at 8:15 per se, if I start at 8, I haven't actually made it to work at 8 a.m. in 5 months, maybe 6 months. And work technically starts at 8, but if I show up between 8:05 and 8:15, I just like say I show up at 8:15, as long as I take like a 50-minute lunch break instead of an hour lunch break, or like, and then maybe stay till 5:05 instead of 5 o'clock, they're totally fine with it. Thank God. Because the worst, I'm just one of those very, I know this may come to as a surprise to some of you. I'm one of those very lazy people that never want to leave their bed. If I could stay in my bed all day, I would. So that's it. I even watched like the first two. I'm supposed to like do stuff on like RuneScape and everything because I'm a big RuneScape nerd. I've probably never really talked about it in this podcast, but I did a lot of RuneScape streaming before. Kind of want to get back into it a little bit once Worlds is done, and if I'm still not working, because I play RuneScape all the time. RS3, not old school. But so the stream might be that. Like it might, because I don't think it's legal to stream the actual video of the thing. I don't know exactly. I don't know the rules behind this. So if we do it, we'll do that and we'll update the picks. But that's a long tangent to talk about what our picks are going to be. So let's go to day 5. And if I don't wake up, these picks are final. Okay? I can't change them like after the games have already done. Just in case. That's not fair. Just in case they have been like spoiled to me. It's stuff that doesn't. It's not in the integrity of the podcast. And it's pointless as well. Oh my god. We're going to do a spoof. Stay tuned for just reaction for. I totally forgot. I should definitely talk about that stuff on the podcast. After these picks, we'll get through these really quick because I want to talk about the Riot's announcements for 10th anniversary. Holy shit. If you haven't seen those, I'm going to do a quick breakdown on that before we're done for the night. League Extreme collab. Oh my. I want it. All right, so we'll just do, because I actually really want to talk about that. I'll just do a very brief. I won't really explain too much. I'll just do these picks. These are final unless I'm live tomorrow, and then if I am, then I'll upload it to. I don't need that. That won't be uploaded to YouTube. That will just be a stream only thing, because that's kind of a weird upload to YouTube. It'll be like 6-7 hours. I don't think anyone wants to watch that. But FPX, I think, beats GAM. I think they take care of it. J-Team comes back with Splice. Totally fine. J-Team is going to win against GAM as well. FPX is going to win out, so I'm picking them there. Splice beats GAM again. And Fun Plus Phoenix takes down J-Team. Very, very simple. Subject to change. You'll see it on the podcast tomorrow night if we change them in the live stream. If not, we'll be here. Also, could be a situation where they don't change. If I see Fun Plus Phoenix destroy GAM again and J-Team destroy Splice, I'm probably going to pick J Team over GM and Fun Plus Phoenix over Splice, and if that happens for the second time, I'm just gonna stick with it. So it could just be I stream it and then we keep them all the same. But anyway, that will be that end of the podcast. So if you're done, if you only want to watch or listen to Professional League, you can leave now. Now let's just briefly talk about. You have the same picks except you have J Team beating Fun Plus Phoenix. You have J Team going number 1 in this group, Ryan. God damn, I love it. I would love it. I would, as a Fun Plus Phoenix fan, it hurts, but my heart for J Team, like I said, when J Team first faced Fun Plus Phoenix, it's like seeing like your child in like high school or something going against like a state like number 1 team, and like just try your best, honey. Like just try your best, and they did, and they won, and that was amazing. So I would secretly love that. Though J Team would probably be one of the weakest 1 seeds to ever come out of a group. And none of the 1 seeds are picking Fun Plus Phoenix. That's for damn sure. Holy shit, can you imagine with EU already being upset that Fnatic got such a bad group? Can you imagine that G2 gets like the last pick or whatever in the draft and they have to get Fun Plus Phoenix in the first round of quarters? EU would be livid with this draw selection. Anyway, that's going to be it for this part, but we'll continue now with talking about Riot's 10-year anniversary, which was a stream they did today, which is kind of why the stream was late. I was kind of watching most of that. And yeah, let's break it down. Let's go to Reddit. We're gonna be one of those streamers that just goes to Reddit and looks at stuff like that. Oh my god. So basically, League did their 10-year announcement. If you watched those pregame games, they were a little. I feel like they could have had much of a Riot Please postgame thread. Here we go. Holy shit! Right a fucking game. How can you just announce? Essentially, here's this top comment. How can you just announce 5 games at once? 7 is the guy under there. I count 5. Oh my god. Wait, what? There was an MMO game? What MMO game did I miss? Oh, no. That guy's thinking of. It wasn't an MMO. That was a Diablo style game. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? So basically, Riot comes out and announces TFT for mobile. Super hype. I've begged for that for a long time. It might finally get me back in it. I've actually been playing a little bit of TFT recently, and I suck. I stopped playing at Plat 2-ish because of work and just like in general things. Like just not interested. Like not catching up on the meta, and TFT is super meta reliant in my opinion. You had mobile League of Legends, which to me looked pretty good. It looked like a better version of Arena of Valor, which the fact that TFT wasn't mobile was a crime. I think it's going back to RuneScape, Ryan. I don't know if you know any RuneScape memes, but winter 2017 is when mobile for RuneScape was supposed to come out. RuneScape is still in beta for mobile. I have it, luckily, but most people don't. What year are we in? Oh, is that October of 2019? Welcome to Jagex. That's why I like Riot. Riot has some issues off the field, off the gaming world, with some of their sexual harassment stuff, which I do not approve of at all. But outside of like when it comes to just the pure gaming aspect, I deal with Jagex for the last 18 years. I've probably played RuneScape. No, it's probably I'm at 16 years. 16 years of RuneScape, which is very embarrassing. But I deal with a terrible, terrible company in Jagex. Riot is so much better than them. So much better. So having TFT Mobile like only a few months is a gift. I'm so excited. Mobile League of Legends, I'm excited for that. It looks like Arena of Valor. I played a little bit of Arena of Valor, also owned by Tencent. Liked it a bit. I got bored eventually, but I was playing on a really crappy phone. I haven't played it since I got my new phone, which is not sponsored, but it's a Samsung phone. This is how much of a loser I am. I bought my phone because I had an iPhone, and the RuneScape beta is not going to iOS. It's still not on iOS. So I literally switched to Android because of that, and got this little stylus in the Note. I made sure to upgrade to the Note 9 or whatever to get the stylus, so I could play RuneScape with more pinpoint accuracy. Yeah, I have an addiction problem. I think I have over 600 days played of game time on RuneScape. So if you think I know a lot about League, or if you think I know nothing about League, it's the same thing in RuneScape. I know absolutely nothing, but I know a lot as well at the same time. I'm not like good at it though. I play for fun, you know. I'm one of those. I play for. I don't play for elite PVM skills. Anyway, not no RuneScape stuff. Stop RuneScape. um, Third card game. I kind of liked it when they announced it. I'm not too big a card game guy. I played Hearthstone a bit, and I like that one, but I'm terrible at it. I'm literally like near bronze level at Hearthstone, so I like to just make my decks. And then like I started watching Disguised Toast every now and then. I just like discovered him through Offline TV, and like Scar and Mark were talking about Offline TV, and I'm like, oh, who's this? This Disguised Toast guy's hilarious, and he's one of my favorite like streamers now. But and then I like just watched him play Hearthstone though, and I'm like, holy crap! I had no idea how to play this game whatsoever. I had no idea about any of these combos. But yeah, watching even though the pastry time thing was a little sketch with the like playthrough that they did, I think it did a good job of explaining it, at least to me, and it made the game seem a lot less complex than it did just through the brief talking about. When they were talking about it, I was so confused. Like I have no idea what's going on the screen whatsoever. But once they sat down and played it, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get that. That's not as complicated as I thought. Fighting or a shooter, amazing. Like we saw that. You wanna just take a kill shot at Blizzard. Riot, you didn't have to make it public. Let's just destroy Hearthstone and Overwatch, and just casually, no big deal, no big deal. Oh my god. Also League on consoles now is really cool. I think that is a huge step forward. I'm not gonna play it on consoles. I have become a PC Master Race person for the last 4 years since I bought my Mega PC, but which apparently couldn't run Streamlabs for the longest time, for like 5 months properly. But I think that what Smite did and opened the world to MOBAs on consoles, there's a lot of casual players and casual people in general on consoles that can open up League. You get League in their brain. They see all the news on like ESPN and all the like national headlines, like these world championships and stuff like that for League. I think it's a fantastic way to promote the esport in general. Curious how the esport will go, if they will have professional console tournaments. I kind of doubt it personally, but we'll see. The fighting game as well. My brother is so excited for that. He's a big fighting game guy, as I've talked about before. He actually made it on the Smash stream for at the Big House, one of the biggest tournaments at Smash. He made it through 5 rounds. He lost the very first game, but it's double elimination. Then he won 3 in a row, and then he finally lost. He was 1 away from moving on to day 2, and he unfortunately lost. But that he was facing a guy who had actually beaten some professional players before, so that was a tough match. And he said if he was playing a better character, he probably could have beat him because he was playing a D tier character. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, Smash is a great game, great community, very poor esport because fantastic audience and everything, not funded by Nintendo. So like, for example, the Big House probably put in perspective is kind of like, it's kind of hard to explain because there's more than just MSI, but it's like an MSI style. Like they have Evo, which is like Worlds, but then they have the Big House and all these other S tier tournaments. Like they're the best of the best are at this tournament. Everyone is here, So it's like a really tough tournament. Winner got $3,000. like, can you imagine if like that was a thing in your esport, like major tournament, you beat every single person, like almost you win at Worlds and you won $3,000. That's it. No, what did the other people win? Like $10? Like, so I'm thinking if Riot makes a fighting game and they make it to a professional level and an esport level, like that's gonna get a lot of fighting game. If they support it at an esport level, that's gonna get a lot of fighting game players over just for their living. And when the players go, the fans go. You know what I mean? Like, if all the Smash players are like, oh, I know it's a different style fighting game, but this is also talking about for like Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, all these small fighting games. They all kind of move over to this with a well-structured and like well-run esports league, you could see this game really blowing up. There's a it might I'm not the target audience. I don't really care for fighting. I like watching Smash, but outside of that, I don't like fighting games at all. I don't like playing them. I think that there is a very good opportunity for Riot here with this target audience that the fighting game esports have kind of let been a big letdown like production wise. So getting someone with the production to bring one, I think they can explode a ton on this one. Esports Manager, my favorite game. I'm so excited for this one. This one came out of nowhere, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. Oh man, I want to. You get to run a team, like that's my dream, and it's in the LPL. Yes, it's my favorite league. I'm so excited. This game made. I was like, I'm probably like one of the only. I was the only fan of it in the Discord at the time because none of my other friends cared at all. But I was like, yes, I want this game so bad to come out. I'm so excited. Oh man, I want to watch that one so bad. I want that one so bad. Didn't see a new board game. Confused about that. I saw what this guy's referring to in an MMO game is actually it looked kind of like a Diablo style game, and like a kind of like a what are those called? I can't even remember off the top of my head. They're not fighting game. What are they called? I don't know. What are they called? Like, you kill a bunch of minions. A dungeon crawler. That's a little bit like that, similar, but where you just fight a bunch of minions. Basically Diablo. There you go. That's your game, Diablo, and they look kind of like that, but with lead characters, and they all looked amazing. And I was blown away by the stream. You can't just like. I was literally thinking that this stream was going to, and they also released an anime, or are gonna release some like anime movie thing. There you go, there you go. That one I was actually a little about. I was really kind of hoping for the MMO personally. I was kind of like hyped up for the MMO on that point. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna give us every single game genre in the world. Riot Games is literally Riot Games now with every genre. But then they gave the anime thing. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. But I don't know how many champions are gonna be in it. I kind of want to follow certain champions and stuff around champions. I saw Jinx at the end, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll keep my expectations high. Riot's usually very good with animation and stuff like that. So my expectations will be high. This is how you do it for video developers take that. Imagine the writers looking at this, looking at us complain about the like content for 10 University. Oh, I bet. Anyway, is there anything just like else? I don't think we have too much else to talk about here. Riot wins E3 exactly, Ryan. Oh man, it blew my like we were losing our shit in our Discord when like they dropped. It was like the thing that we absolutely it was like mobile TFT and well they were like and I was like yay, but they were like yeah mobile league and console league and like I like the stuff, and then the like esports manager, my Discord's like and I'm like yay. I was like supporting all the way. Didn't see the new board game. I guess it just blanked. But then they started talking about fighting, and they're like yay. And then the card game, I'm like oh not bad, not bad. Lost our shit at the shooter. We're like oh my god, Blizzard is dead. Like Riot's like Overwatch was supposed to be the league killer. League is not only alive, they're going to kill Overwatch as well on top of it, and CS:GO and Hearthstone. Like holy. And most of the fighting game region, like oh my god. And then I really thought we were gonna get that MMO game, but we got Diablo game. It looks like too, which will also be probably really fun. So I'm super excited for that. Or it could be an MMO, and I'm just insane. But I really think it was more Diablo fighting style game. Dude, could you imagine Ryan trying to balance an MMO? I want Riot to buy Jagex. Ryan. I want Riot to try and balance an MMO. I want a Riot MMO. Get me. I just told you I have 600 some days on RuneScape. Get me out. I just bought ArcAge today because my brother and them were gonna play it. But I'm already like. It's not. No MMO has ever taken me. I played World of Warcraft once, hated it. Played all the other ones, hated them. And I think it's the questing on RuneScape that really gets me there. The questing is my favorite thing in the world. And no, every other MMO quests are go kill 10 rats, go kill 10 spiders, go kill 10 skeletons. Those are what considered quests. RuneScape quests are really delved out in like story and lore base, and I absolutely love lore. I actually pre-ordered the Riot lore, so like Riot's lore plus MMO. If they can make quests along the line of with Riot lore, I would love that game so much. The balance, we'll see. But to give Riot credit, Ryan, we've had 90 champions played at Worlds so far. 90 champs picked their band so far at Worlds. Unique champions. That is, I don't know if that's already a record, but that is very impressive. You can be so much more diverse now than you ever were before. Also, before we end this podcast, the Summoner Rift changes. Oh my God, that is scary. That is, I am scared, but I'm wondering. I'm giving them faith because I love. Well, two of them are Sona and Yumi. You're right, but like, I am terrified because I don't agree with having the taking down walls, and unless you're a Talon player, you probably hate that. But or like extending bushes, the extra bush right there. I do like that extra bush. I think that's a good bush. The one like right in between Blue Buff and Gromp. I do like that one, but I think that's really good for more aggressive jungling. I'm really confused about the little half circles on the top and jungle or bot lane. I think that's really weird. The wind tunnels, I'm assuming that's speed buffs or slow down if you go one specific way. I'm unsure how that meant. So wait, Talon rework incoming? Maybe. And tomorrow we are having another champion roadmap. We're talking about Lucian's wife coming into the game. Senna is finally here. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about that. It really is so actually pointless now. Well, he's pointless after they reworked him anyway. But we have Senna coming, and it's a marksman support. Very interested to see how that works. We have, if that's a counter, by the way, like my friend said, if that's a counter, he is only picking that champion in the Vigar and countering his damn little point and click ult and sending it right back. So Senna's going to be there, which is super exciting, I think. And then I guess we're getting a roadmap on Fiddle and Volibear almost complete with their reworks. And then we're having 3 new champions and 2 more reworks that they're going to be talking about tomorrow. So we're going to have that. So there was a lot to uncover today. So that was amazing. I think Riot blew everyone away. Props to them a ton. Lucian Senna for Zyra Khan. Yeah, we could add that. I'm very curious to see what her kit's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. Because again, like I said, I have, sorry, I just burped in the mic again. But with the whole like situation with the animation, I was excited for the MMO, but the anime or whatever, the animation on that Lucian thrusting was great again, like always. So I'm hoping that they do a good job with the animations and stuff, and they will. No, they're very good at that. Double date. But yeah, I think with that should be the end of this podcast. We're not. I just said that we're doing it tomorrow, the stream. We're not, because we're doing it Thursday when the games actually start. We have a day off tomorrow, and we won't have a podcast tomorrow. But yeah, with that will be the entire podcast. Thank you for coming, Ryan. I appreciate your back and forth, and thank you all for watching. If you stuck with this, it's about an hour, 30-minute podcast of listening to me talk. Kind of crazy. But yeah, we have a whole bunch to look forward to back at Worlds, a whole bunch to look forward to in the future with Riot Games, and I am so stoked about it all. It was a very good day today. Very good day today. All right, good night, and we won't see you tomorrow, but we'll see you unless... Yeah, we won't see you tomorrow, but we'll see you Thursday, possibly early. If not, same time as in between, somewhere between 10 and midnight. But yeah, you'll see the notification. Good night.